Krishna, welcome everyone to Bhagavad Sravana. Thank you so much for being here, especially Labor Day weekend. I'm just checking my phone to see if our speaker is here. Yes. Let me just... Okay, he's running 5 minutes late. So we can... I'll introduce him, and then we can keep doing more kirtan. We're really grateful to hear from Vasudev. Vasudev is our head pujari here at Bhakti Center. He's been serving here for many, many years. Amazing, amazing. He's been serving here for many, many years in that role of head pujari. And he was a brahmachari here for many years, a monk. He's originally from the Netherlands and is a disciple of His Holiness Kanabakanda Maharaj and very close with Kanabakanda Maharaj's guru, His Holiness Jayadvaita Maharaj. And he's a Sanskrit scholar, an amazing teacher, an amazing community builder, and just an amazing person and one of the deepest, most beautiful devotees that I know.
Amen.
Yes. I'll let him speak.
You're right. Lord Vasudev.
Yes.
Hare Krishna, welcome everyone again. Sorry if you'll be a little bit late. Been a little hectic last few days. We had a flower festival here yesterday. And it looks remarkably good considering that
It definitely
we had
does.
800 pounds of flowers being thrown about here in this space yesterday. Thanks. You have yours.
Yes. I travel with multiple paths.
In case you're failed.
That's right.
So today we'll be reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, from Canto 1. It's the chapter 8, the teachings of, the prayers of Queen Kunti. Is there anyone here who does not know who Kunti is? Welcome. Brother, is this your first time to the Bhakti Center? Okay, welcome. So yeah, this class is a little bit more like an advanced class, let's say, but hopefully you can follow. So Kunti is Arjuna's mother, and at this part of the Bhagavatam, Krishna has just saved Parikshit, who is Arjuna's grandson. So Arjuna had a son named Abhimanyu. Abhimanyu was married to Uttara, and Abhimanyu sadly got killed in a battle. So one of the enemies of the family, the Pandavas, Arjuna and Kunti's family, wanted to kill the last remaining descendant of the family, Parikshit, was in the womb. So then Krishna, being in the heart of every living being, he manifested in the womb of Uttara, the wife of Arjuna's son, to protect the embryo. So, one second. Yeah. Yes. So, Krishna, in this mystical way, saved this embryo and protected the dynasty to continue. And Kunti is witnessing all of this. He's kind of seeing what's going on. And Kunti is also like Arjuna's, Krishna's cousin. So Kunti is Krishna's aunt. So immediately she's becoming aware. She has like a familial relationship with Krishna. But now she's becoming also very keenly aware of his divinity. Like how he's the supreme personality of Godhead, who in this amazing way protected them again, as he has done so many times before. So then in that mood, she starts to pray to Krishna. So first she kind of glorifies him as Namasye Purusham Tuadyam. I offer my respects to you, the original Supreme Person. And people who don't recognize you, you walk around here in this world almost like an ordinary human being. People don't recognize you. Just like an actor is walking around with like clothing on, you don't recognize the actor, who the actor is, if he's well dressed. You know, he has a lot of makeup and so forth. So Krishna, like that, he says, you're covered by a curtain of Maya. People cannot, curtain of illusion, of your own energy, and therefore people cannot recognize you. But I know who you are. So then naturally the question arises, you are this amazing Supreme Person walking on this earth. Why? What made you come here even? To do all of this? To protect us? To do whatever you do. Like, why? What is your purpose? You're the Supreme Godhead. What is your purpose of coming here personally to this world? So there's a whole string of verses in which she contemplates on that. She kind of almost shifts from the mood of prayer to the mood of describing his. She's still in the mood of prayer. She's describing his appearance. So with Krishna Janmashtami coming up, Krishna Janmashtami is Krishna's appearance day. That's next Wednesday, coming Wednesday, September 6th. By the way, all of you are invited. Program starts at 6:30. We have a wonderful program lined up all the way till like past midnight. So please come Wednesday. But in leading up to this great event, in many ways the most important event of our year, we want to kind of get into the mood. So that's the purpose of this class. So many beautiful prayers are here. There's about 20 prayers of Kunti. And I think at some point I memorized all of them. They're just so iconic, so amazing, so filled with pure devotion and insights. This like amazing lady, Queen Kunti, who's been through everything in life. And it's like the prayers of someone who's like, who's been through everything. It comes out, it's like, Krishna, all that is left for me is you. All I want is you. So it's just so beautiful when somebody is like, sometimes you have these movies where someone, like the hero goes through this like epic journey and just meets his beloved or her beloved. It's such a iconic moment. So it's kind of like that. She goes through everything. She loses her husband. She goes through so many trials and tribulations, so much dangers. She loses all her grandsons in the battle practically. So much like difficulty after difficulty after difficulty. But then she comes out as this fully mature devotee, saying like, Krishna, I know what this world is like. I see for what it is. But I have you, and that's everything to me. So that makes these prayers so beautiful. These are spoken just after the Battle of Kurukshetra. And for us, that's like a story in a book. But we can only imagine what that was like. The destruction of their entire family. Like, hundreds and thousands of people lost their lives. So in this backdrop of destruction and agony, she's meeting Krishna. She's looking at Krishna, finding complete shelter in Krishna. So in that mood of pure devotion, these prayers become they touch the heart so deeply. So that's just a little bit of backdrop, of a background to the prayers. So now we'll read the actual prayers. But before we start, we'll first do an invocation. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Verse 30. Janma karma cha vishwanam ajashaka turadmana tiryannar shishu yatakshu tadatyanta vidambanam. Translation. Of course, it is bewildering, O soul of the universe, that you work, though you are inactive, that you take birth, though you are the vital force and the unborn. You yourself descend among animals, men, sages, and aquatics. Verily, this is bewildering. So Krishna doesn't just appear in a human form. He appears sometimes as a giant fish, sometimes as a giant boar, as a lion, as sages amongst the gods in the heavens. He appears. So, and he works. He does all kinds of things. Krishna, when he's here, gets up early in the morning. He tends to the affairs of the state. He herds cows. He does different things at different stages of his pastimes in this world. But it says here inactive. Because why is he inactive? He doesn't do anything material. Nothing what he does produces any karma. Or is the result of his previous karma. We all act in this life because what we've done in the past. That's created our situation in which we work. Like Brinda's studying as a doctor right now. She's doing a residency. That's a result of your, well, maybe you're a liberated soul and you just descended to this world. It could be. It may be a result of your previous pious work that now and your previous inclinations that now your destiny is taking shape like that. And all of us, this is one example, all of us, we continue from a past life and then we create further karma in the past. But Krishna doesn't do that. He doesn't have karma from the past. He doesn't create. So he's inactive in that sense. He's not part of the karmic cycle. And he's unborn. He's ajja. And we're also unborn, actually. But still we take birth, again because of karma. We are forced to take birth. But Krishna, he chooses to take birth. That's the difference between us and Krishna. We are unborn, he's unborn. Think about it, by the way, just for a moment. Just tell this to yourself. I am unborn.
I am unborn.
Amazing, actually. It's changed your whole perspective of life. Right? I was never born, even in this life. I've taken many births, but I've always existed. So Krishna like that has always existed. We take birth because of previous actions, and therefore we play out our karmic life. So this is kind of bewildering because Krishna just walks among us. The Supreme Personality of Godhead walks among us, just like one of us. So it's very hard to distinguish him from anyone else. He's very beautiful, so he looks different from other human beings. But for the untrained eye, how can you distinguish him from anyone else? So this is therefore, verily this is bewildering. And then she gives an example in the next verse, and I won't read the whole verse. It's a beautiful verse. You can meditate deeply on this verse. A couple months from now on, we celebrate Kartik. She says that Yashoda, your mother, that's already like God has a mother. What? took up a rope to bind you when you committed an offense, and your perturbed eyes overflooded with tears, which washed the mascara from your eyes, and you were afraid, though fear personified is afraid of you. This sight is bewildering to me. So she gives an example how here is the Supreme Lord. He descends to this world. He's unborn. He's beyond karma. He's all-powerful, almighty. He's the source of time, and everybody in this world fears time. Like when you look in the mirror, you see, oh, my hairs are becoming more and more gray and getting more wrinkles. And you're seeing, oh, gradually I'm moving towards the end. And you see other people more and more. The longer you live, the more people around you start. So we're all afraid of time deep inside. But Krishna is the source of time. So, and he's the source of death. So it said that the god of death does his duties out of fear of Krishna. He feels obliged. I have to do my duty to judge the dead because out of fear of Krishna. So fear personified, death personified is afraid of Krishna. But Krishna, playing seemingly as an ordinary human being, is afraid of a mama standing in front of him with a stick and binding him. This is not child abuse, by the way. This is her affection to discipline Krishna with lots of love, and not wanting to hurt him, but just because Krishna is extremely naughty. That's another very interesting aspect of God. When he descends to the child, he becomes like the naughtiest child you could possibly imagine. There's no end to his mischief. So she's trying to, set him straight. She's wondering what will become of him if he goes on like this. He keeps on breaking those yogurt pots and stealing butter, and, pinching children, and playing around the monkeys and so forth. So, but it is bewildering because it's so seemingly ordinary. So, and that makes it even more relevant to understand that question. Why do you appear? Why do you play like this? This verse really sets the tone for the rest of the verses. Why do you appear and why do you do like this? Why do you play like an ordinary child? What's the purpose of it? If you ever come like God, just be God. And say, here I am, I'm God. All surrender to me. The Christian doesn't do that. He's like kind of hidden and covered. So why? Why does he play these apparently very human-like ways? And she's going to answer that question, but she's first going to give us a few more reasons why Krishna appears, until she comes to the real reason why he appears. Kechirahur janjatam punya shloka shikirtaye yadhopriya priyasyan. Another thing of getting old is that I need reading glasses. Unfortunately, I can make my screen bigger. Yadho priyasyan avaye malayasye vachandanam. Translation. Maybe someone would like to read the translation?
Some say that the unborn is born from the for the glorification of pious kings, and others say that he is born to please King Yadus, one of your dearest devotees. You appear in his family as sandalwood appears in the Malaya hills.
So here it said, Kechi, some, Ahu, some say. So there's many different opinions why Krishna appeared. So some say Ajam Jatam, the unborn is Jatam, is born. Punya Slokasya Kirtaya, for the glorification, Kirtaya means for glorification of Punya Slokasya, of one who's very famous and pious. Punya Shloka means one who's glorified in like pious shlokas and pious verses. So this could reverse to Yadoho here in this verse. Could also refer to Maharaj Yudhishthira, it's said by the Acharyas. Arjuna's elder brother, who Krishna wanted to, a lot of his pastimes is his dealings with the Pandavas and walking with them through all their trials and tribulations, ultimately to enthrone Yudhishthira as the emperor of the entire world. That's such a key purpose of Krishna's descent, that he wanted to, and that we're going to read about in the next verses, clear the world of the burden of very demoniac leaders and kings who were doing a lot of harm to this world, and get the most pious Yudhishthira on the throne. Yudhishthira was so pious, he never spoke a lie in his entire life. Now, think about that. And think about the present political world, where like truth is just, what works. It's never about truth. It's just what serves me and my interests. So that's political world. But he was so pious and so upright, he never spoke a lie. What a leader that is. And what integrity. So Krishna wanted to glorify him, put him in charge. This is a leader. This is a great soul. This is my devotee, Yudhishthira. He should be the king, and not all this human waste. All this human waste in the form of kings. And my devotee be glorified. And also Yadu was a very great devotee. He lived many, many generations before, but he was very devoted to Krishna, to Vishnu. And to glorify him, Krishna appeared in his family. Therefore he's known as what? Yeah. Hari Haraya Nama Krishna Yadavaya. Yadava. He's a Yadava. Now, is Krishna Yadava? No. He is Krishna. He is the supreme, but he chose to take birth from his family. Just like it says, here's a very nice example given. Like Chandan is a tree. Chandan appears anywhere in the world, in many places. It could appear anywhere, but it's especially found in these Himalaya hills, which I think is probably Malaysia right now. I think the word Malaya comes from that. It was all part of the Vedic culture back in the day. So is Chandana famous because of Malaya, or is Malaya famous because of Chandan? You tell me.
Malaya is famous because of Chandan.
Yeah, especially back in the day. It's kind of like, Prabhu gives a contemporary example. I'll listen to the class on this. So like, Eau de Cologne. You know heard about Eau de Cologne? Have you heard about this? Eau de Cologne? Does anyone really know what Cologne is? Thank you for saying that. Because it's a place in Germany. So we don't know much about Cologne. I know because it's the closest city in Germany next to my country, Holland. So I know the city. I've been there. It's a very beautiful city. But it's more known for Eau de Cologne than, the great cathedral which is in the city, which is also very nice and very famous. But nobody knows that. But Eau de Cologne everybody knows.
Like the
Yes, that. Yeah. Even some deals are being offered Eau de Cologne. So like that, Krishna appears in this family, and he makes that family what's already somewhat famous, but he makes it super famous. And Yadu was a king, a famous king, but Krishna appearing in this family, he makes him like a super king, a super famous king. Like not everybody knows Yadu in this culture, and now all over the world, we like people like me, born in Amsterdam, know like, oh, Yadu was a great king and Krishna appeared in his family. And now you all know that. So Yadu is being greatly glorified by Krishna's appearance. And that's a significant part of Krishna's appearance always. And we're going to read more about this verse, about that theme of him glorifying his devotees and reciprocating with his devotees in the next two verses. Apare Vasudevasya devakyam yachito bhagat ajastvam asya kshemaya vadhaya chushura visham. Please.
Others say that since both Vasudev and Devaki prayed for you, you have taken your birth as a son. Undoubtedly, you are unborn, yet you take your birth for their welfare and to kill those who are envious or the
Yes. So apare, others they say, Vasudevasya yachito devakyam abhyaga. So yachito being begged, being prayed for, Vasudevasya by Vasudeva. Krishna's father in this world, his name is Vasudeva. That's why Krishna is called Vasudeva. My name is, by the way, Vasudeva, not Vasudeva. And so he appeared in Devakyam, in the womb of Devaki. Now, how was he prayed for? Actually, he was prayed for by both of them, as Prabhupada says here. As Suttapa, Vasudeva, many years ago, many lives ago, he appeared as Suttapa, and Devaki as Prishni. So, and they were doing severe austerities. They were eating only like the leaves from the trees and so forth, only drinking water. And they wanted a son like Krishna, like Vishnu. And Krishna appeared before them after many years of doing this tapasya. And he said, well, there's no one quite like me, so I have to personally appear to you. So that's how he appeared as their son. And Kshemaya. Kshemaya means for the welfare, for the good. So we understand, this is the story of Krishna's birth. Vasudeva and Devaki, they were harassed by Kamsa, Devaki's elder brother, who wanted to kill them, wanted to kill her initially. Really because she knew that the child of Devaki would be Krishna, would kill him. So they were very much harassed and they were imprisoned by him. They had all their children killed by Kamsa out of precaution. He knew the child was there, but he thought, how do I know what's the child? Let me just kill all of them. Like, she may have 8 children and one of them may kill them. So let me just kill all of them. So, you can just imagine, me and my wife were talking this the other day. She was watching the Mahabharata. She watched this growing up as a child. She watches it sometimes. It's a beautiful rendition of the Mahabharata, I'm sure you're familiar with it. But you see Kamsa like taking the child, smashing it, the child against the wall all the time, like 7 times, 6 times before Krishna's appearance. How gruesome is that? How painful is that? Can you imagine, like, anyone who has, like, I can't quite imagine it even, but I'm sure anyone who has a child, can you imagine someone picking up your child? Like, what that does to you? How painful it is. So, again, against the backdrop of all this pain and suffering, Krishna appeared to mitigate, to protect them, and also to mitigate all that suffering. Because when Krishna appeared to them, despite all the pain they went through, it was like kind of all worth it in a way. Because now you have the Supreme Personality of Godhead as their child, the most incredible person you could imagine became their child. And then it says, Vadhaya cha Suradusha. And Krishna appeared to protect them and to kill Kamsa, who perpetrated so much suffering to them. And many, many other people like that, who were kings at that time, who were committing all kinds of atrocities. So Krishna came for killing that. Now Prabhupada comments here that Krishna doesn't really have to appear for that. It also says in the Gita, Paritranaya savam vinashya chaduskritam. Krishna appears to protect the pious, the devotees, and he comes to kill the wicked. But he doesn't do. He just has to send a storm, heart attack, brain hemorrhage. There's so many ways. Just by his energy, he could kill. He doesn't have to do that personally. So really, why he appears Kshemaya, for the welfare of the devotees, to reciprocate with them, to out of love for them, out of reciprocation with them, because they so much eagerly desire to see him. So Krishna has he's almighty and very sweet. That's the amazing thing of Krishna. He's not some kind of almighty, often translates in the material world as the worst tyrant you could possibly imagine. You know, someone has all the power. But Krishna is exactly the opposite. That anything done for him, he feels very grateful. So he feels always indebted to his devotees who serve him. So he always wants to do something for them. Like Yadu served him, so Krishna said, like, okay, I'm going to appear in this family and make him very famous. Yudhishthira, my dear devotee, is completely devoted to me. And so our Krishna wanted to glorify him. Vasudev and Devaki, they prayed to become their son, so he's becoming their son. That's why he really appeared. Not just, and then on the side he kills and he sets something straight in this world. But he doesn't have to personally appear for them. So he very much appears in reciprocation with his devotees. And that is his heart, that is his sweetness. That he feels indebted, he feels grateful to his devotees. So that's such a beautiful aspect of Krishna's appearance, why he appears. Again, same as stated in the next verse. To make this, especially these long words, they become more difficult. Bharavataranayanye bhuvo navaivo datham shridanta bhuri bharena jatho yatma bhuvartitaha. Please.
Others say that the world being overburdened is like a boat at sea, is much aggrieved, and that Brahma, who is your son, prayed for you, and so you have appeared to diminish the trouble.
Yeah, so it said here that Krishna appeared to relieve the burden of the world. And again, an image is given. Shastra gives such beautiful images. A boat at sea. You can just imagine, like, it's a very stormy sea, there's a boat. The boat is overloaded. So what happens then, it starts to like sink in the sea and becomes much more vulnerable for to be turned over. So the world being overburdened like that, and Krishna came to lessen the burden when he was prayed for by Brahma, his son. So we read about this also in the 10th canto, that the earth was overburdened and she appeared in the form of a cow. And she, along with all the gods in heaven, approached Brahma, the creator, to the creator of this universe. Brahma creates this universe empowered by Krishna. And Brahma heard them out and said, yes, this is a very terrible situation. All these kings, they're creating a lot of difficulty. Let's approach Lord Vishnu. So they all went to a particular place in the universe where Vishnu rests. And they chanted prayers. Sahasra Shirsha Purusha Sahasraksha Sahasrabad Sabhomim Vishvato Vitva Atyatishta Dashangulam. So they recited beautiful Vedic prayers. And then Brahma sat down in meditation. And then from within he could understand that Krishna will very soon appear in this world to diminish the burden of this world. So again, Krishna did not have to appear to diminish the burden. He could just do that with us. But he also reciprocates again. Because Brahma prayed to him. Brahma said, like, I can resolve this situation. So he prayed, please help. So Krishna, he could have helped in so many ways, but he appeared in his personal form. Again, in reciprocation with Brahma. So that's always the link, so much. Krishna is a relationship person. Right? Like for example, I've been observing Radhanath Swami lately. And he's a very powerful person in this world. But he could do so many things. But I see mostly what he does is just relating with people, relating with people he loves. So he could meet like some very sick, big person, but then he goes out to spend a day with, some family in New Jersey of people he's known since, decades. So it's a relationship. So Krishna also like that. It's a relationship. He's responsive in relationships. But all of this, the Acharyas say, is not the real appearance, the real cause of Krishna's appearance, the real reason for Krishna's appearance. So Kunti, till now she's been saying like what other people say. Now she's going to speak verses what other people say and which she really, really agrees with, which she knows. And that's why she ends the description of Krishna's reasons of his appearance. She ends them with the next two verses because she knows this is the final conclusion. Are you ready to hear the final words of Krishna's appearance? Really, some of my favorite verses in the whole Bhagavad. We can chant this verse together. So I'll chant and you can respond. Bhavesmin klishyamananam
Bhavesmin klishyamananam
avidya karma vihi Sravana smaranarhani karsham niti kechana Translation. Who would like to?
And yet others say that you appeared for the sake of rejuvenating the devotional service of hearing, remembering, worshiping, and so on, in order that the conditioned soul suffering from material pangs might take advantage and gain liberation.
So the last verse and this verse have to kind of be read together. Shrinvanti gayanti grinanta vikšnashah smaran. Okay, we can repeat.
Shrimanti Ayanti Grinanti Vishnava
Smaranti nandanti tavedam jana.
Smaranti Nandanti Tavedam Jana
Kayeva pasyancha chirena tavakam.
Kayeva pasyancha chirena tavakam.
Bhava pravaho paramam param bhujam.
O Krishna, those who continuously hear, chant and repeat your transcendental activities or take pleasure in others doing so, certainly see your lotus feet, which alone can stop the repetition of birth and death.
And we can also read just we can also just read the purport up to here.
There are different
Yeah.
transcendental. There are different transcendental activities of the Lord, and each and every one of them is competent to bestow the desired result, provided the hearing process is perfect. In the Bhagavatam, the activities of the Lord begin from his dealings with the Pandavas. There are many other pastimes of the Lord in connection with his dealings with the Asuras and others. And in the 10th canto, the sublime dealings with his conjugal associates, the gopis, as well as with his married wives at Dwarka are mentioned. Since the Lord is absolute, there is no difference in the transcendental nature of each and every dealing of the Lord. But sometimes people in an unauthorized hearing process take more interest in hearing about his dealings with the gopis. Such an inclination indicates the lusty feelings of the hearer. So a bona fide speaker of the dealings of the Lord never indulges in such hearings.
You can actually read this and finish the paragraph.
Okay. One must hear about the Lord from the very beginning, as in the Srimad Bhagavatam or any other scriptures, and that will help the hearer attain perfection by progressive development. One should not therefore consider that his dealings with the Pandavas are less important than his dealings with the gopis. We must always remember that the Lord is always transcendental to all mundane attachment. In all the above mentioned dealings of the Lord, he is the hero in all circumstances. And hearing about him or about his devotees or combatants is conducive to spiritual life. It is said that the Vedas and Puranas, etc., are all made to revive our lost relationship with him. Hearing of all these scriptures is essential.
Yeah, thank you. So we'll backtrack again to the previous verse. So we'll discuss these verses together. So bhavesmin klishyamanam. You have heard of the word klesha? What does klesha mean?
Difficulty, suffering.
Suffering, even in Hindi, right? Klesh. So kleh comes from the word klish. Klish means to struggle, to toil, to suffer in some way. So though for those who are struggling, bhavesmin, in this material existence, bhava means material existence. Why are we struggling? Prabhupada says the next line, there's three words in that line, avidya, kama, karma. He says, these three words sum up the entirety of material existence. What is that? Avidya, there's nescience. What is avidya?
Ignorance of our real relationship with Krishna, our position of servant.
Yes, it says in the Bhagavad, Ishad epitasya, having turned away from Ishvara. Viparya, we develop an opposite mentality. Instead of being a servant, we're trying to become the master. And asmriti, as a result, this is one result. When we turn away from Ishvara, we think we become Ishvara. we become the master, the center. And asmritihi, we forget who we are. That's a necessary component of this misunderstanding of who we are. That we have to forget who we truly are. So that's ignorance. We become ignorant of our relationship with God, of God Himself, and Him being the controller of everything, and ignorant of our own position as eternal soul in relationship to Him. So, and what happens then? Because in that relationship, we actually find intense fulfillment. That's actually the whole, whatever we're seeking is that relationship. But then when that relationship becomes weak, and we all experience this at times, then kama, the desire comes for this or that. And then when there's desire, what do?
Struggle it.
Yeah, then there's karma. You have to work for it. Because nothing. There's a very nice verse in the Hitopadesh. It says, not even the lion, such a powerful animal, can just, lie down and have the deer or the other animals walk into its mouth. It has to also work and chase after, and many times, not be successful at getting the prey at once. So we all have to work, we all have to toil. That is the material world. And the Prabhupada says, everybody here, especially human society, whether you're the president or the smallest person, like we all have to struggle, we all have to work. So, therefore Krishna comes to this world and out of compassion, he comes to show, he shows us what he's all about. That's why he appears in Vrindavan. And what does he do in Vrindavan? It says the absolute is Anandamaya, full of bliss. There's no work. Krishna tends cows, but that's not work, that's play. So he just plays. This especially refers to his Vrindavan pastimes. He just plays around with the cowherd boys, goes out herding cow, they play every possible game you could possibly think of, they play together. They have lots of fun. He has most wonderful activities with his girlfriends, the gopis, or his eternal associates. And there's no lust in that, it's pure love. It's easily misunderstood again. And he becomes like a child to his parents and he enjoys that relationship. So when he's being afraid of his mother, it's not that he's really, he is afraid, but at the same time, he allows himself to be afraid. It's enjoyment. So Prabhupada actually mentions in one of the purports to Chaitanya Charitamrita, if you want to have a son, if you want to have a child, have Krishna as your child. You'll never be disappointed. If you want to have a friend, have Krishna as your friend. You'll never be disappointed. He'll be your friend eternally. And he'll never betray you, never turns his back to you. He can fulfill we always get frustrated sometimes when, our children or our friend or our lovers or husbands, right? But if you want to have a lover who never lets you down, that's Krishna. If you want a friend who never lets you down, that's Krishna. If you want a child who never lets you down, that's Krishna. So, and therefore Krishna shows his beautiful pastimes, and hearing about these pastimes, and remembering those pastimes, then we can become attracted to him. So that's why it said that when we become absorbed in Krishna, in the beauty of his personality, the beauty of his form, the beauty of his activities, which are seemingly human, but they're so attractive. right? That he becomes a little child to his mother and cries out of fear. For the devotees, that's not like bewildering, it's actually beautiful. It's the Supreme Personality of God becomes the most wonderful, loving child to his mom and reciprocates in a very intimate way. There's so much beauty in that. So, there's so much beauty in everything Krishna does. So when you become attracted to that beauty, that's the main characteristic of Krishna, that's that beauty, the opulence of beauty. Then you forget everything in this material world. So that's why it said, for those who this starts with hearing about these pastimes, and then also singing about them. There's so many beautiful songs about Krishna. Even just his holy name, we chant Krishna, Hare Krishna, we can remember his pastimes. And in this way when you hear about and chant about, naturally you remember him. So the more you become absorbed in him, the more nandanti, it says, the more that becomes your pleasure, that your pleasure is Krishna, who is the reservoir of all pleasure, the source of all pleasure. The more we take pleasure in him, in his form, in his pastimes, the more we become detached naturally from material existence. So ta'eva pasancha achirena tavakam. When we have developed some attachment to Krishna, very quickly, it's achirena, without delay, you will see pashanti, the conditioned souls here, all of us, suffering here in this world, we will see Krishna's lotus feet. Because what we become absorbed is, that's what we'll attain in this life and in the next. So, and what happens when you see Krishna's lotus feet? Bhava pravaho paramam. That's Krishna's lotus feet, they seize material existence. So that's the real purpose why Krishna appeared. To display to us the beauty of his wonderful pastimes. There's many scriptures in this world about God. Many understandings of God. Well, when he appears as Krishna, is the Supreme Personality of God himself, Swayam Bhagavan, displaying who he is in great detail. So that he relishes that. He comes here to relish those very intimate pastimes, along with all his devotees. Like his friends, like the gopis, like his mother. He comes to relish that. And he displays himself to us. And he opens the doors to us. Those of us toiling in this material existence, trying to become happy in all the different relationships we're having. Opens the door to us. Come here. He's inviting us in his play, in his pastime, so that we can go back to him. Just by Srimanti, just by hearing first of all about him. That's why he comes. That's the real reason why he comes. To A, relish those pastimes himself. B, invite us all in to propagate this spontaneous devotion. He helps us become attracted to him. This wonderful, wonderful human-like personal feature of his. And then at the side, he does all the rest. He glorifies Yadu, he destroys the demonic beings, he protects Devaki and Vasudeva, he relieves the entire world of its burden. He does all on the side. That's actually the secondary appearance reason where it is. The real reason is this. To display, to relish his pastimes and to display that to us. So as the Mastami comes, we can make that our meditation. To fulfill, we can all fulfill the reason for Krishna's appearance. by hearing about him, by becoming attracted to him. So that's the invitation he's giving with his appearance, and that's what we can meditate upon as we're moving towards the Janmashtami, to become more attractive towards Krishna, the all-attractive. So we just have a couple minutes.
May I grab this? You know, exactly in line with this verse, I suddenly remembered a verse from the 10th canto, and I pulled it up. May I? It's
Yes,
in
please.
line with what you're saying. So after the background is after the 9 cantos of the Bhagavatam are over, and Krishna's godhood has been established by Sravana Goswami, he's now anxious to emphasize why Krishna appears. And in the 10th canto, 33rd chapter, 36th verse, so 10, 33, 36, he's describing the Rasalila pastimes, and he says, when the Lord assumes a human-like body to show mercy to his devotees, he engages in such pastimes as will attract those who hear about them to become dedicated to him. And then Prabhupada says in the purport, it's an undeniable fact that any pure or simple-hearted person who hears narrations of the loving affairs of Krishna will be attracted to the lotus feet of the Lord and gradually become his devotee.
Yeah, it's amazing you bring out that verse, because if I had more time, I would have delved deeper into this reason for Krishna's appearance, which is described in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, 4th chapter. So there's a whole description of Krishna's appearance and the reason why he appears, the external reason, and the relieving of the burden, and then his real reason. And that ends with this verse. That's why my marker is on this verse. So thank you for bringing that up. Yeah, it says Anugrahaya Bhaktan, for out of mercy for his devotees, he takes shelter of a human-like form. He accepts a human-like form. And he enjoys, it says bhajate, he enjoys tadvisha krida, such kind of pastimes, such kind of wonderful pastimes. Yashrutva, that if one hears those pastimes, tatparo bhave, one must become attracted to him. Tatparo means devoted to him, bhave. Bhavet also, it says, Krishna is the vidiling, that means it's an imperative that you must become. If you're simple-hearted, if you have an open heart, and you're just hearing with an open mind, you must become attracted to it. And even if we don't become immediately attracted to it, it's like we should try to hear again and again, we develop that attraction. So I think we're on the same page.
That's right. Hearts were connected. That's why I remember this verse.
Any other question or comment? Reflection?
Thanks, Vasudev. You mentioned that if you have Krishna as your best friend, he's never going to disappoint you. And since you're the head pujari and you cared for Krishna kind of like a child here around Mullingar for many, many years, has there can you share your realization of potentially a disappointment turning sweet?
Oh yes, many times. Like often I have experienced. So there's about 120 hours of service taking place on the altar every single week. Of which I cover a portion, but obviously 7 days a week, 120 hours, it's a bit much for one person to cover. So you need probably at least 10 people. Not all full-time, some full-time, some part-time. But as life happens, people move on. So then suddenly like 30 hours open up, 25 hours, 20 hours open up. And you're wondering like, how am I going to do this? Like, because I'm already pretty packed, I'm already doing 40, so another like 25, it's gonna be like, you know, sometimes even more. So somehow I've always found like the next person is, some person goes away, and then the next person just shows up out of like nowhere. I'm getting this phone call, yeah, my husband finally got his fiance visa approved, like we're planning to come to New York the next week. And yeah. Yeah, he's ready to do put service on the altar, he's very excited. Yeah, we're also very excited, can't wait. So I had it like several times. So that's how like I just tried to take care of it, and then also they take care of me. More examples like that, how that yeah, I definitely feel very trying to take care of them. They definitely take care of me. That's I've definitely experienced that in many different ways.
Can you share what Radha Swami personally told you about take care of the deities and then everything will be taken care of?
I think it's time. But yeah.
But it's a great point that he made.
Next class. Thank you all so much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Vasudev Prabhu ki
Jai.
Okay, so now we're going to have Arti, so everyone please stay. And we're going to have Arti and Kirtan for Shri Radha Muladhar Gaurachandra. We can just move these red mats to the side, and then everyone can come forward so we can dance together. Hare Krishna.
Shri Radha Muladhar Gaurachandra ki.
Hare
Ramachandra ki
Jai!
अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय, नामाचार्य श्री हरिदास ठाकुर की जय, प्रेम से प्रभु श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री द्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्त वृंद की जय, श्री राधा कृष्ण गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरि गोवर्धन की जय, श्री कृष्ण वृंदावन धाम की जय, नवद्वीप मायापुर धाम की जय, गंगा मई की जय, यमुना की जय, भक्ति देव की जय, तुलसी देव की जय, श्री हरि नाम संकीर्तन की जय, गौ प्रणाम, all glories to the Son of God, all glories to the Son of God, all glories to the Son of God, all glories to the Lord's feet of Shri Guru, Shri Govinda, all glories to the Son of God.
Namaste Narasimhaya. Namaste Narasimhaya. Hiranyakashi Purvasha. Yato yato yam nitaton nisimo. Yato yato yam nitaton nisimo. Vair nisimo, virtayer nisimo. Vair nisimo, virtayer nisimo. Simhamadim sharanam prapade. Simhamadim sharanam prapade. Tavakara kamala varenaka advuta shringa dalita hiranyakashipu danubringa kesavadrita narahari rupa jaya jagadishare jaya jagadishare jaya jagadishare. Tavakara kamala varenaka advuta shringa dalita hiranyakashipu danubringa kesavadrita narahari rupa jaya jagadishare jaya jagadishare jaya jagadishare.
Thank you again to Vasudev for speaking, and thank you all again for being here at our Bhagavad Sravana. This happens every single week, and please come back. And very special announcement. I'm just going to make one announcement, well, two, today. This week is a very special week, as Vasudev mentioned. Wednesday is Krishna Janmashtami, Krishna's appearance day. We're having a huge festival from 6:30 p.m. until 12:30 a.m. And it's going to be a meditation on Krishna's divine form, from his lotus feet to his smile, with bhajans and kirtans and lectures and drama. So please come. And also, if you would like to volunteer, you can sign up on our website. Click on Temple and then Janmashtami and then volunteer. And you can sign up to volunteer. We're still in need of volunteers. And on Thursday is Srila Prabhupada's appearance day, and we're having a program at 10:30 a.m. in the temple to glorify him. So please come for that as well. Hare Krishna. Please stay, take prasadam in the back of the temple room. Maybe our volunteers could just close the dividers. Thank you, Kishvara. Yes. And leave donations if you can. And thank you so much. Hare Krishna. Have a beautiful